Hi guys, how are you doing today? Hope you're doing fine. Today we will talk about this part, the 2021 Fox DHX2 Coil Shock. Hi guys, thank you for joining me again on this video. So today I will share to you the 2021 Fox DHX2 Coil Shock. I will share to you the reason why I changed from air shock to coil shock, and I will also share to you my review or my thoughts on this 2021 Fox DHX2 Coil Shock. So stay tuned. And by the way, if you're not yet subscribed, please do subscribe. It helps a lot. And later on, if you like this video, click that like button as well. Okay, so let's get on with it. By the time that I am making this video, this is the latest version of the Fox DHX2. It was released by Fox on April 2020, and I personally got hold one on July 2020. So shout out to Unique Bikes for helping me source out this shock and also helping me install on my bike. So what's new on this 2021 version? Let's go find out by checking on Fox website. Okay, so we are now on Ride Fox website. Let's go ahead and take a look. What are the new features on this new 2021 version? Okay, specs and family features. First one is new chassis and damper. Second, new detents on spring collar to prevent loosening under light preload conditions. So the spring collar that it is referring to is this one. The detents do help in keeping a consistent preload on the spring because you are now able to count the number of clicks as you turn the spring collar to set the preload. Next one is new high flow main piston. New MCU bumper for increased end stroke progression and bottom out control. When you take a look at the 2021 version, the bottom out bumper, this one, is much thicker if you compare it with the previous version. So that helps in providing additional bottom out resistance for the shock. Next one, new ultra low friction high durable hard chrome damper shaft finish. This one, so it's now in chrome finish. New improved high-speed rebound tunability via addition of VVC or variable valve control. New improved bearing ratio for metric sizes. New graphics. Matching 8-click HSC and HSR adjustment on grip 2 forks and X2 shock. So that means that you would be able to match the high-speed compression and rebound settings on your shock and your grip 2 forks. Increased control and decreased harshness via linear damping. Steel outer body and finned inner body for improved structural rigidity and reduced hysteresis. Independent firm mode circuit, firmer lockout than previous DHX2. Reduced friction, reduced length reservoir for better fit on more frames. The shock is available with or without the 2-position adjust lever. The 2-position adjust lever allows you to adjust the firmness of the spring, so it can serve as a lockout. So you can call it a shock lockout. The shock is available in both imperial and metric sizes. In my case, I was still using the imperial size, which is 8.5 by 2.5. Do check out your frame specifications when looking for the right shock to purchase for your bike. As for adjustments, so you have the optional 2-position open firm lever, retains high and low speed compression adjustment, high speed compression, low speed compression, high speed and low speed rebound, and coil spring preload. And all factory DHX2 shocks are on shaft coating, chromoly, VVC, rebound, and detents on spring collar. That is the details for the Fox DHX2. So why did it change from air shock to coil shock? I am riding a Santa Cruz Nomad version 3, and I have to say that it's a very capable bike. Previously, I was running with the RockShox Monarch air shock, which came with a frame. It was running fine on the air shock, works pretty well on the small bumps and also on big hits, but the suspension felt dead on the mid-stroke. I read some info online and other riders also had this same issue, and their feedback is that switching to coil solves the problem. The Nomad V3 has a progressive suspension curve, so it does make sense that the coil shock will work on the bike. So I started saving some money for the coil shock, and perfect timing, by the time I already had the money, the new 2021 version was released.
Shut up and take my money!
Getting the shock dial. To get the best feeling from the shock, it is important to get the spring rate and set the correct high speed and low speed compression and rebound settings. With regards to selecting the correct spring for your shock, do check out my other video about it. I will put the link in the description. As for tuning the shock, I can say it was pretty easy. What I did is I started with the Fox recommended settings. You can find the 2021 DHX2 tuning guide in the Fox website. It's a good starting point. After that, I did some adjustments in the settings during my rides. It might take several adjustments or several rides before you get the setting that provides the best feeling for the shock. But once you get it, it's all good. Do take note of the settings so that you have a record of it. Before I start to share my thoughts or my review about this coil shock, let me just say that my thoughts and my review will be based mainly on my experience switching from air shock to coil shock. And I don't have experience, or I have not tried the previous version of the DHX2, so I won't be able to provide you a comparison between the previous version and this new version. And also, I haven't tried running on other brands or coil shocks from other brands, so I won't be able to compare this coil shock with other brands as well. So yeah, just wanted to share that one just to be clear. Also, I noticed sadly that 91.6% of you guys watching my videos are not subscribed. So I really would like to ask your help to click that subscribe button, and also if you like the video and if you find the video useful, please do click that like button. It will really help a lot and I would really appreciate it. Thank you. Having said that, let's start with the pros. Biggest one I would say is that the coil shock has better small bump sensitivity. Part of it is because it is using lesser seals as compared to an air shock. I also felt better traction with the coil shock. I felt the wheel tracks the ground pretty well, and it does help on technical climbs as well. Having good bump sensitivity and better traction do inspire the rider to go faster, and it did feel that way. I feel more comfortable at high speeds while on coil as compared to when I was on air shock. And it did resolve the issue on the mid-stroke that I mentioned earlier. Another advantage of coil shock is that it's simpler to maintain. Yes, you do have additional things to check at the beginning, like the spring rate, but once you got the correct spring rate and you have the shock dialed, you're all set for a long time. I also have to add in the pros, the amount of adjustments you can do on this DHX2 shock. Again, you have high speed and low speed compression, and also high speed and low speed rebound adjustments. With these adjustments, you can almost dial the shock like an air shock. It also has a good bottom-out resistance. I have tried the shock on drops and haven't experienced any harsh bottom-outs so far. Finally, I consider the lockout lever also a positive thing for this shock. This might not be useful for other riders, but it is definitely useful in long and sustained climbs. Now let's talk about the cons. First one I would have to say is that it may not be the right shock for other bikes. The coil shock will work pretty well with bikes that have a progressive suspension curve. However, coil shocks being linear, it might not work well with bikes having linear suspension curves, as the bike might be easily bottomed out. Although the new DHX2 has better bottom-out resistance, I don't really know how well it will absorb the compression on bikes with linear suspension curve. I haven't tried using a coil shock on a linear bike, so I don't have personal information about it. Another disadvantage I would say is that it is rider weight dependent, so you might need to change its spring depending on your weight. And of course, coil shocks are heavier than the air shock counterparts. But for me, I didn't really notice the added weight while riding, so not an issue for me personally. Now, up to this part of the video, I'm pretty positive you still have a question. How will the coil shock affect your jumping sessions? Well, this is one big question that was in my head as well while thinking of changing to coil. So, let me tell you personally, based on my experience, I did not notice any difference at all. I think because of the available adjustments on the shock that allows you to dial it almost similar to an air shock. So finally, overall, I am very happy with the 2021 Fox DHX2 Coil Shock. I have no complaints about it so far, and I am happy with the additional confidence it provides, especially on high-speed runs. Okay, so there you go guys. That's all that I can share about the 2021 Fox DHX2 Coil Shock, and I hope you liked this video. If you did like the video and if you find the video useful and informative, please do click that like button, and if you're not yet subscribed, please do subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. So yeah, that's it for now. We'll see you again on the next video.